The countdown clock hit 0, the red numbers flickering like a warning. Inside the control booth, Jerry felt the weight of the moment. With a determined look, he slammed his hand onto the red ignition button. A deafening roar shook the very foundation of the ground as the rocket tore through the atmosphere, leaving a violent trail of fire in its wake. Inside the dark storage compartment, Tommy scrambled to his feet, his heart racing as the ship tilted sharply toward the stars. He pressed his face against the small, cold porthole, staring at the rapidly shrinking Earth. "Wait, where are we going?" he shouted into the void, but his voice was instantly swallowed by the bone-rattling vibration of the engines. The world he knew was disappearing into a blue blur. As the roar faded into the absolute silence of space, gravity simply vanished. Tommy pushed off the wall, expecting a step, but his legs kicked wildly at nothing. He began spinning in dizzying circles through the cramped cabin, his arms flailing like a panicked bird. Jerry drifted past him, completely steady and unbothered, casually sipping from a juice box, as if he were sitting in his own living room. Tommy managed to grab a handle, his face flushed with a mix of fear and frustration. "How do you even steer this thing?" he yelled, only to lose his grip and start spinning again. The cabin was a chaotic mess of floating debris and one very confused passenger. Suddenly, a massive crater sphere loomed in the window. It wasn't gray or rocky. It was a vibrant, bright yellow, swirling with deep, delicious-looking holes. It was a planet made entirely of cheese. Both of them unbuckled their restraints and dove toward the surface with wide eyes. The moment their boots touched the yellow crust, they didn't just land. They shot 20 feet into the air. Jerry landed with practiced grace, bouncing like a spring and laughing at the absurdity of it all. Tommy, however, pushed off much too hard. His momentum carried him higher and higher, far beyond the reach of the craters. He drifted past the thin yellow clouds, his hands clawing desperately at the empty air. "I am way too high. Somebody help," he screamed, watching the cheese planet shrink beneath his feet. Just as Tommy floated into the cold, silent darkness of the upper orbit, a tiny green alien materialized out of the void. It didn't look threatening, it looked friendly. It floated toward Jerry, who was waiting below, and the two of them bumped fists, instantly, like old friends. The alien pulled a strange metallic device from its belt, a giant, glowing magnet that hummed with energy. With a quick flick of its wrist, the alien locked the magnetic beam onto Tommy. In an instant, Tommy plummeted back toward the surface, falling through the sky until he hit the cheese crust face first with a loud, muffled thud. The alien simply giggled, a high-pitched chirping sound that echoed across the yellow plains. The journey home was quiet, save for the alien occasionally giggling in the corner of the cockpit. As the rocket finally touched down in the familiar grass of the backyard, the alien's eyes lit up. It spotted Tommy's secret stash of snacks sitting on the counter. Without a word, it grabbed the cheese tin, chirping with pure excitement and hunger. Tommy stared at the alien, then at his now completely empty pantry. The realization of his lost snacks hit harder than the moon landing. He slumped against the cold metal of the rocket frame, letting out a long, heavy breath of defeat. "Brilliant," he muttered to himself, watching his new, uninvited guest settle in for a feast. It was going to be a very long night.